Hi friends, today we're going to expand on what we've been working on for the past 2 days and work with regrouping hundreds. Okay, so open up to page 439 in your book to follow along. So it's going to be really similar to when we regroup tens, except now we're moving on to our hundreds. Okay, so let's first show it with base 10 blocks and then get down into the specifics of it. Okay, so it says to use base 10 blocks to solve. Gwen put 214 pieces of macaroni on her picture in art class. 120 pieces fell off. How many pieces of macaroni are still in the picture? Draw the blocks we used and write the number. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is, of course, start the number that we start with. So we have 214. So we have two hundreds, 110, and 4 ones. Okay? Now it says 120 pieces fell off. So we're taking away 120. So we have 214, 214 is our original number, minus 120. Okay? So, just like with everything else, we start with our ones. We have 4 minus 0. I don't take away any ones, so we're left with the 4. Okay? Now let's move on to our tens. Our tens place we have 1 minus 2. Do I have enough do I have enough tens to take away 2 from them? No, I don't. So I'm going to have to break down 100. So just like when we broke down our 10 into 10 ones, you're just going to break down your 100 into 10 tens. Excuse me. So I'm breaking it into 10 sticks, which I didn't leave myself a lot of room for, but that's okay. So I have my 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now that 100 flat is 10 hundreds, or 10 sticks. So now I have 11, right? Because I have 10 down here plus 1 is 11. So what does that look like in our problem? Just like it did with the others, except now you're going to shift over. So you borrowed from your hundreds place, you cross out the 100, write that 1 because it's 1 less, and then add 10 to the tens place. So that 1 becomes an 11. So now it becomes 11 minus 2. If I cross out 2 tens, I'm left with 9. So 11 minus 2 is 9. And then we have 100 left, and they want to take away 1, so you have to get rid of that too. So we're just with 0. And you can put the 0 there if it helps you remember it, but you don't really have to, because like we talked about with addition, if you add, or don't have the 0 there. Oops, you don't need the 0 there. 9 by finger. So our answer is 94, because that's what we're left with. Okay, so let's talk about that in some more detail, right? So if you're trying to find 539 minus 285, your step 1 is always going to be subtract the ones, right? In this case, they wanted to take 5 from 9, which you totally have enough to do, so you don't have to regroup or anything, because 9 minus 5 is 4. The next step is to subtract the tens. All right, in this case, we have 3 minus 8, which we cannot do, since you cannot subtract 8 from 3. So you have to regroup 100 as 10 tens. So as you can see, we took the 100 flat, made it 10 sticks, then that made us 13, and then we could take away the 8. And as you can see here, that they cross out the 5 to be the 4, which is just those hundreds that are left. And they made the 3 a 13 because they added the 10 to it. Then it became 13 minus 8 was 5. And then you had to subtract the hundreds. So then it just became 4 minus 2 was 2. So your answer is 254. All right, so let's try a few of these with some pictures and some examples, right? So we have 568. Take away 197. All right, so if you're following along in your book, I'm just working on page number 1 right here on the guided practice page. I'm just going to also draw the picture beside it. All right, so first I have to draw my 500. $60. 8. Okay, so we have 568. So as always, I start with the ones, right? So we have 8 minus 7. Do I have enough to take away 7 from 8? Totally. So I'm going to take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just left with 1. And that makes sense because 8 minus 7 is, of course, 1. Oops. Yep. So 8 minus 7 is 1. Alright, so then we move on to our tens place. We have 6 minus 9. Can I take away 9 from 6? Nope, so I'm going to have to break down 100 into 10 tens. Alright, so now instead of 6 tens, I have 16 tens. And how does that look in our problem again? Well, we come over to our hundreds place. We borrowed 1 from there and gave it to the middle. It's a group of 10s, that's why you add 10. So now I have 16 minus 9, so I take away 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because 16 minus 9 is 7. And then 4 minus 3, or excuse me, 4 minus 1 is 3. So we're going to say 4 minus 1. Take away 100, we're left with 3. So because 4 minus 1 is 3, so our answer is 371. Okay, so what does that look like with here again? 8 minus 7 is 1. 6 minus 9, can't do it, so I have to borrow 1 from the hundreds place. Give 10 to the 6. 16 minus 9 is 7. 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so like I said, you don't have to use the picture because you can do it really quickly with the columns. It's just that you can realize and see what's actually happening when you borrow. So let's do this one as well. 628. So 628. Taking away 442. Okay, so I'm just working on that number 2, so you can follow along. So I'm going to draw my 628. So we have 6 hundreds, 2 tens, and 8 ones. Alright, so starting with our ones, we have 8 minus 2. So if I take away 2, I'm left with 6. Then we move on to our tens. We have 2 minus 4. Can't take away 4 from 2, so I'm going to have to break down 100 into 10, 10. So I have 10 tens. So now instead of 2 tens, I have 12. So remember, what does that look like over here? Well, we can't do 2 minus 4, so we have to borrow from the hundreds place by 1 and add 10 to that tens place. So you have 12 minus 4. We take away 4. I'm left with 8. And the last one is 5 minus 4, so I have to take away 4 hundredths. And I'm left with 1, so our answer is 186. Okay, so if we had done that without the picture, we would say, okay, 8 minus 2 is 6. 2 minus 4, wait, can't do that. Have to borrow from the hundreds place. My 6 becomes a 5. My 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. And 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, so how do you know when to regroup? Well, you know when you need to regroup if the number you're taking away is bigger than what you have to start with. So basically, in a simple way, if the number in the bottom row is bigger than the one on top, you're going to have to regroup, right? Because if the number you're taking away, which is on the bottom, is bigger than the one on top, then you won't have enough to take away. Okay? So, lots of independent practice. Remember, it's kind of the same strategy as yesterday. You're just applying it to the hundreds place now. So instead of regrouping tens as ones, you're regrouping hundreds as tens. Same exact strategy, though. Same exact idea, I should say, not the same. And so have some word problems as well to practice, and then your homework should look pretty similar. It's the same as the one we had, and we'll be working with this lesson again tomorrow as well, because I want you to, regrouping is a big part of the subtracting, obviously, and so I want you guys to be really, really solid with it. Okay, so we'll keep working with this as well. All right, friends, as always, work hard, do your best, and have a great rest of your day.